Okay guys, so what we're going to do is take you through the foam rolling of the lower body. We're going to start with the calves, then we're going to work our way onto our IT bands, then we're going to work on the adductors, we're going to do a little bit of glutes, and then from there we'll show you how to do the upper back and do some upper back mobility. So starting with the calves, so depending on sort of how tight you are and the type of sports or activities you do throughout the day, you can get quite tight. What we're going to do is start down at the ankle. Hands are just beside your bum or just behind your bum, and all you're going to do is just start lifting yourself up just slightly, and all you're going to do is just roll down just towards the knees. Okay, now if you see my hips coming too much forward, just shift your hands up just a little bit. Now as you come back, do a little bit of a tuck. Okay, now you find that if you're still too heavy or you have a bit of weight to lose, you don't have the strength in the upper body to hold yourself, you can plod along, nice and easy, and you can shift the weight from one side to the other. You'll find that you'll sort of get sort of a pinching or a movement in the leg once you find a certain knot. Once you do, just let it sit there for about 10 to 15 seconds. You'll start to feel better. Once it does, then you can start re-rolling out that same muscle. Now, if you find with 2 legs it's too easy, you can put one leg on top of the other. In fact, we'll do this later. And then extra weight of the top leg is actually going to push the bone against the muscle between the roller. So basically, you're just giving yourself a bit more of a harder massage. So for example, for me, I can feel a lot of pain, for example, just right there. So I would just let that sit there for about 10-15 seconds. Once that starts to feel a bit better, you can then roll back up and down. I would suggest doing at least 15 to 20 rolls. That should get you sort of nice and warmed up, especially if you're doing any sort of lower body exercises, squatting and lunging, that sort of stuff. Working on the adductors, all we're going to do is start from the knee, so just where the quad finishes, just at the kneecap here. All we're going to do is just roll over. Now these ones get very, very, very tight. Everyone will be in pain when they do these ones. So for example, I've already done my training today and I've already done my foam rolling, and these are still really, really sore. So for example, if I get all the way down to the hip, all the way back over to the knee. Now if you find a really sore tender spot, you can then also move the leg in and out, just like that, until it gets really painful. Just let that hold for about 15 to 20 seconds. Once it starts to feel a bit better, you can then start to roll out again, getting down nice and low, all the way down towards the groin where the hip finishes, or hip starts I should say, and then all the way back down to the knee. Okay, once you've done 15 to 20 rolls up and down, you would then do the alternating side, so you move over to the right. Now, onto the IT bands. Again, these are very painful again for most people. Coming down to the elbow. Now the leg that we're rolling is going to be under you, so if you're in a side plank, this is what a side plank looks like. We want the top leg to be over the top here, so just with extra support. And this bottom leg, you want this foot nice and relaxed. Okay, so as soon as you tense up, everything's going to tense, and you're not going to be able to do the motion and the rolling that you want to. So you want to keep this leg nice and relaxed. Okay, and the second I relax it, I can already feel tension all the way down the side of the leg on this side here. So this hand here is just with a bit of extra support in case it's too painful. All you're doing is just rolling all the way down to the knee, okay, and then all the way back. Now if you don't feel any pain, it just means you haven't hit the right spot. You can move forwards and you can move backwards, okay. You can roll up and down in this position, and you can roll up and down in this position. So the whole idea is just to move up and down until you find the spot that you hit. For example, for me, to right there, and that's really, really, really painful. So I will just hold that position for again 20 to 30 seconds, let it start to dissipate. So it's starting to feel better already. Once it does, you then continue rolling on. Alright? So after that, what we do is move on to your opposite side, and it's really easy. Just switch over, start on the hip, swing the legs over. Okay, so you start in this position, and you swing over like this, and you would then roll up and down. Okay? Now with the glutes, we're going to do the right hand side first. So I'll show you a side angle and then show you a front angle. What the side angle looks like, we want to roll the right hand side glute. The right leg crosses over the top of the left knee. The left knee comes up as high as you can, depending on the flexibility. And then with the right side, you're going to lean to the right glute. So if you want to roll the right glute, the right leg goes over the left leg, and then you rotate to the right side. Exact same principle, so rolling straight up, straight down. You can lean over to the side, come all the way back. Okay, so if I bring this around in front of you, I'm rolling the right leg comes over the top, left knee comes up, rotating to the right. Cool? All the way back, all the way back. Now if you find that these aren't enough, you can actually get the lacrosse balls, and you can sit on top of the lacrosse ball. Those are really, really painful, so ease your way into those. These can sometimes get a bit worn, especially if you're using the ones at the gym, because we have members use them all the time. You can either buy your own one of these, you can get these cut in half, and you have half of a foam roller. Otherwise you can just use the lacrosse balls that cost you about $5, and you can then get a little bit deeper into the certain areas that you find are really, really tough, especially if you have a lot of back issues as well. Alright guys, we're going to show you upper body. Okay, so the first one I get most people to do is to touch the ears. And you're trying to bring the elbows to touch together in front of your face. Yeah, like that. You're shooting the hips up into the air and rolling down just before the neck. So here, hands together, elbows together, hips off the floor, and then all you're going to do is on a slight downward angle, just roll down. Just so that it hits the bottom of your shoulder blades, and then from there, hips come down, and then you're rolling down. So it looks like a downward sweeping movement. Back down. Okay, so this is just to get everything going. Again, 10 to 15 rolls up and down. Now from here, we would do actual segmentation of the vertebrae, and this is just for thoracic. Oh, there we go. Thoracic mobility. So exact same position as before. Elbows in. All you're going to do is start from the upper back, just where the neck starts. All you're going to do is just extend, and you're going to try and reach far back, trying to get those elbows to touch the floor, and then you're going to crunch it in. Small step back, about an inch. All the way back, all the way up. Another inch. So just move in 1 inch at a time until you get to just below the shoulder blades. Oh, a big crack on that one. And again. And then we start from the start. So we come back down. And again, start from here. So again, 1, 2. It's about 6 to 7, depending on how far you go through the movements. Okay. Now, if you don't have the shoulder mobility to get the hands up in the air, you can bring them across the chest as well. Some people are a little bit more comfortable across here, especially if you have a bit of shoulder issues as well. And it's exactly the same. So coming down, then back up. Okay. Now, once you've done that, you have the option to do the lats, so all the way through here, especially if it's quite tight, especially if you're sitting at the desk all day and you're in this position, you're hunched over a lot. So all you're doing is lying on the side, just where the armpit starts here. The exact same position as where you're doing the IT band. All you're doing is just rolling all the way down on the back of the shoulder, not directly over the top, on the back, and then coming all the way up. Okay, so you'll feel this, right, it's very painful. All the way up, all the way down. Now you'll find that the lat attaches all the way over on the bone, over here, and attaches all the way down the lower hip. So making sure you're going down to at least middle of the rib cage, and then all the way up just about mid-ish on the arm, okay? So for me, it would be about here, so on the back of the tricep, and then I'll go down here so you can see. So from here, and I'd go all the way over, and the most painful part is about there. So just where the rear delts are, especially when you're in this rounded position all the time, that's where it's going to get the most tight. So 10 to 15 rolls up and down in this position, and you then roll over and do the other position. Okay. Now, if the chest is also quite tight, especially through the front of the shoulder, you can also lay front on. So down this position, just like we were with the leg, when we're over here like this, except this time he's going to be over with the shoulder. So starting with the front of the front delt here, all you're doing is just pushing the chest into the foam roller and then just rolling all the way down. Now you can extend this all the way down to the bicep, okay, and you can come all the way back over, all the way over. Now I find this works a lot better if you have a hard medicine ball because you can get in deeper, or if you have a lacrosse ball and you use it on the wall. But if you don't, this is another alternative. So just rolling out and back. So for me, for most people who have tight chest, my tight point is right there. So I just leave that for about 10 to 15 seconds, let that sit, and again, you can move the arm up and down depending on how you feel. So if you find that you're not feeling anything in this position here, you can bring the arm up slightly and roll out this way. You can bring it back a little bit more and you can roll out this way as well. Okay? Alright guys, that's how you do all your foam rolling. If you have any questions, feel free to message me. Hopefully that helps, especially with your mobility, being able to squat better, being able to move better, and it should help you with the aches and pains that you probably feel, especially sitting at the desk all day. So let me know how you go. Cheers guys.